You're watching this video because I'm converting my enclosed cargo trailer into a camper trailer, a travel trailer. You're gonna want to stick around for this because this is gonna be a real treat. Come on, let's go inside. So, what do we got here? EPS on the walls, caulking gun for decoration. These are the studs of the trailer. Came with a vent. I covered this vent. This is just wood. Now you have a little bit of an idea about where we're going with this. So now let's go back to where all this started. Welcome to day one. And for the last month, I've been planning to turn this into a travel trailer. In this video series, I've never built a travel trailer before, and it should be an interesting journey. Make some notes to put this thing back together. Yep. So I use this Lexel, and this is some pretty serious sealant. This stuff will, according to the label, stretch 747%, and definitely use those gloves. Applying just a little bit of pressure on the outermost wall, it opens up a gap and it lets you slip this Lexel right up underneath the joint. You're going to want plenty of razor blades for this job. Score it, snap it. Obviously, you're going to want a utility knife. I got a Cobalt because I'm a Lowe's partner. And there will be affiliate links in the description. And if you click on those links, you're helping out the channel at no extra cost to you, and in some cases, you get discounts. I've already marked. I'm going to use the straight edge, square it up on the edges, the factory edges. Put your knife someplace safe, just like breaking drywall. I got a combination of 1 inch and 1/2 inch sheets that I'm going to be incorporating in this. This is 1 inch right here. And you're done. Let's go stick some of these up. There's only about 50 of them. This is the pre-existing exterior lights. I'm just using some of this reflective aluminum foil tape. It's very tacky. Just trying to keep it neat where I can. I need some jack stands. I got this Reflectix, and I'm just going to put it over all these seams, close up all the air gaps, and go from there. Nearly every single panel had to be notched in some way, shape, or form, around screws, you name it. This is the backside. These tools are nice for picking up angles. And ripping down plywood is the best way to go, but I'm trying to use wood that I had. I can't tell you how happy I'm going to be when I get through messing with this foam, the lath strips, the insulation, and I get to start building something. And make sure you set a few screws at the bottom to snug that up tight so you don't get any bowed boards sticking out because of that foam. I'm going to wrap this insulation up tomorrow, and then I'm going to start putting some flooring in the front V-nose area. difficult and challenging, but it's half the weight at this point. I just unpacked my Allen Roth countertop. It's butcher block. Read through the instructions. They say you can cut it to size, but I'm going to cut it short. So I'm going to give it 1/8 of an inch for expansion and contraction. It also says you need to coat all the surfaces, the top, the bottoms, the edges, everything. And the reason for that is because it seals in that moisture content and it will not move like it would if you didn't seal it. So plan ahead, make sure that you have time to unwrap it, cut it, fit it to size, and then get it coated with whatever coating you're going to use. I looked at both sides of the butcher block countertop and I selected this underside to be my finished top side. And the reason I did that, for those of you that don't know, when this cuts, it cuts up. So what is the top currently is going to be the bottom. And if I'm going to get any tear out, it's going to be on the bottom side and it's not going to matter. This I'm cutting off. I set it back 1.5 inches because from this edge to this edge of the saw blade is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to power it up, put on my eye protection and my respirator. Breathing sawdust is not good for you, especially like when you're sanding. I set this back for my blade. I'll get close where you can see. There's the scoring mark that I made with my marking knife. So now I'm just going to cut that one off. I'm going to go ahead and clamp this down, cut it off, and we'll drop it in and see how it fits. Well, there she is. You can see that one chip out. Well, you saw that where that tear out showed up on this top surface. So glued that little piece that busted off, and then I taped it on here. Let me step back. Looking pretty good. Let's see how this turned out. See those release liners. It's not perfect. So anyway, I can work on that later. Now we have modified this from the original plan. Shiplap. So I had to cut the edges again and reseal them. This was cut down from a much larger section of a beam identical to these. This support I ran across the front, notched out the back side. We have shelving that I fabricated on the inside. It's supported underneath with a lip. These corner posts are secured and fastened down through the top. I'm going to show you up under here, but there is a ledger, and I'm going to secure the top of the countertop with some joints that will allow for a little bit of expansion. The legs are going to be secured from the back. They'll all be hidden. And under here, we're going to start laying out the water pump, the accumulator, the filtration system. I know that I said I was going to put the tankless water heater up under here, but at this point, I'm leaning towards mounting it on the front exterior, and I'm trying to get my hands on a metal box that I can mount it inside of with enough ventilation to protect it, but yet keep the propane and to help mitigate against carbon monoxide poisoning. I just wanted to go ahead and put it on the outside, so I haven't quite worked that out. Let's have a look up under here, and then we're going to circle back around, and I'm going to bring in some of the products and let you see what I'm kind of thinking. Right on. Let's go. After I get everything put together, I'm going to do one final sanding and one final top coat on this Allen Roth butcher block countertop. I got this cabinet facing that I'm going to incorporate. It may extend forward, it just depends. I'm leaving all my options open. Let's give you a look here. Back here, this is just offcuts from shiplap. You can see this ledge here. This allows for about an inch of support from the back edge of this shelving to rest upon and carry the load. I just painted this because you're really not going to see this. When I put things up here on this shelf, you're not going to see it. Now let's have a look under here. You can see that the counter has bracing attached that it rests on. I did that to keep everything level, and it's currently just free floating in there. All of the bracketing is going to be hidden back here. We're going to get into some of the systems. I got this Kohree water pump and accumulator. Comes ready mounted on this panel and connectors. I haven't decided exactly where this is going to go, but I'm going to be showing individual installation videos for this, for the water filtration, any of the systems that I'm mounting up under here. But let's just arbitrarily say that's where it's going to go for now. We're going to have the ability to pump out of fresh water. I'm also putting in water spigots for a shore water supply. Let me get this out of the way. And we're going to be showing you a few other items that are going to be coming up in the next episode and several product videos. We are going to have this dual zone refrigerator freezer, IceCO. It operates on 12 volt, 24 volt, or 110 volt. Plenty of flexibility for people that are out on their camping excursions, overlanding, just getting out there and living off grid. It's durable steel vents, comes with a insulated jacket that fits very nicely. I will be doing a full review on this product in a separate video. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what IceCO has to offer, they bring a top grade product to market with the best components. It does not come with the rollers that I put up underneath there, but you can get them for a reasonable price. Next up, boondocking when you don't have shore water. Water filtration, Epic water filters. We got the Smart Shield Max. And to preserve filter life, I have a dedicated faucet that is going to be used for the filtered water. Some of these items I purchased, some of them were donated. There will be links in the descriptions for all the items. This is a SureFlow shore water fill. This is going on the outside, but I wanted to get my hands on it before I started cutting holes in my trailer. And I also wanted to know where exactly I was going to route my lines when I want to use endless hot water with this Thermomate. It is a propane water heater, and when you're hooked to shore power, you can have unlimited hot showers. And after I watched the Will Prowse review of this battery, I knew that was the battery I had to have. So here's a little snippet of what's to come. We're putting an electrical system in. We're putting the plumbing system in. This is going to be the bench area. We're going to tie it all together. And if you want to see the evolution, be sure to tune in to DIY Home as we do this camper conversion.